Beloved, glorious I Am Presence, descend within me that I might feel your vibration and give you total control of all I think, do, and say. To my glorious I Am, I align my personalities, body elemental, and new spirit, so that all parts of my being are in balance, harmony, and alignment. My aura is fully contained within my heart diamond and Metatron's cosmic egg. I am now ready to receive today's message. Greetings, beloveds. With great joy, I come to you again through this particular vehicle, who is one among many of my children who have chosen by their thoughts and their actions to manifest the divine will in all aspects of their lives. This does not mean, beloveds, that they are perfect at it. They make mistakes just like anybody else. But their mistakes are of a lesser degree because their intent is to do divine will. As you rise in the hierarchy and take further initiations, you will begin to work in a group. And so it is that, as our beloved Athena has said, as you go up the path of enlightenment, with one hand you grasp the hand of the one that is further along or above you on the path. And with the other hand, you grab the hand of the one who is below you and a bit further behind on the path. And so, as a group, you will move forward into greater and greater levels of enlightenment. As I mentioned yesterday, many of you are initiates and taking your steps along the path of service. This is a great way to be of service as you continue along your path. Just by being aware that you are always playing these two roles. One is the role of the student, as you learn from the one above you, and one is the role of the teacher, as you teach the ones below you. This is part of how the hierarchy judges how well you are doing along your path. It is by sharing that which you have learned that you integrate it. This does not mean that you should share half-truths before you truly understand them. But once you understand them, whether or not you are fully able to manifest it in your life is not taken into account, at least as much. We expect that you are not able to perfectly manifest every new understanding that you obtain. You are still subject to moments of forgetfulness. But it is not a sin to forget. It is just part of what happens along the path. And so, in general, for those of you who are initiates, such actions do not engender more karma. It would be more like getting a C rather than an A on a test. You have not failed because you have forgotten. You have simply forgotten one of the many new activities that are being impressed upon you at this time. It is normal to have moments of weakness, moments of where the control over your divine self, of your divine self, over the human self, is not yet perfected and absolute. This is all part of the process, beloveds. And I do ask you to be gentle with yourselves, to congratulate and reward yourselves when you are aware that you are fulfilling your divine activity. But instantly forgive, and do not judge yourself at all for those moments when your activity is less than divine. And do not be afraid to ask for help from those teachers that you trust implicitly with your heart. Most of Christmas's path has been without the presence of such teachers in her life, at least not in a way that she could easily communicate with them. Added to that fact was Christmas's tendency to rely on herself a little bit too much. Now she does have such people, or at least one person in her life who is farther along the path than she is, and in whom she has great trust. And that is her beloved mentor, Athena. However, she accepts the fact that Athena can also make mistakes. And so, she assumes responsibility for anything and everything that she does, even if it was suggested or inferred by Athena. I'm telling you this, beloveds, because I want you to take advantage of those teachers with whom you are in a relationship and can ask for guidance on certain things. But this never absolves you from the responsibility of dealing with whatever consequences are engendered by that decision. As a growing master, you are always responsible. But let us clarify, if we can, the difference between responsibility and karma. I have explained this before, and it is a question of intent. When your intent is to do the divine will, and with all of the information you have at hand, you make the best decision possible, there will be no karma. The consequences will not affect you on a personal human level as long as you believe with all your heart that you are doing God's will. And I have promised that I will, shall we say, smooth things over and will not allow any karma to be incurred. So even if another human's reaction is that of anger or any negative emotion because of what you did, unless your ego gets involved and accepts responsibility from the human point of view, you will not take those emotions into you and they will not affect you. If, however, you judge yourself as having screwed up or made an error from your human self, then those feelings will affect you in some way. But that is because you have assumed responsibilities for the feelings that another person is having in respect to what you did. I know that is a bit complicated, beloveds, but I have explained this phenomenon as clearly as I can. It is up to you now to work with it. To be constantly vigilant over your intentions. To be constantly desirous of doing the divine will. When you hold your thoughts on God, then God will use you, and you will not generate karma, regardless of how the outcome appears to your human mind. Many of you expect to understand everything that is happening to you or to others. This is simply not the case at this time. It is not your responsibility to understand neither what is happening to yourself nor what is happening to another. Your responsibility is to be as connected as you possibly can to God, to your own divine self, to the spiritual hierarchy which is always available to bring forth their love and their light to assist you. And your responsibility stops there. So stop trying to control everything. Stop trying to understand everything. But do focus as much as you can on becoming your own glorious, magnificent, divine self. Trust in that. Hold it in your consciousness as much as you possibly can. Christmas has been finding it very easy to bring in the vibration of her divine self. But she also notices how very difficult it is to hold that frequency within her. No one can help you with this, beloveds, although she often prays for assistance. It is the prayer that calls forth that activity from your own divine self in the way that you asking for concentration and focus upon your divine self is that very concentration and focus itself. So when you say that prayer, expect it to be answered immediately. Use it as an awareness that you are not in alignment with your divine self, and just make the shift back. And each time you become aware that you have shifted out of that alignment, bring it back in. Bring back the feeling of what your divine self is. And if you are not yet feeling that frequency, simply remain focused upon it. And at some point, beloveds, and I promise you this, you will feel your I Am presence within you. It comes in every time you ask it to. So ask over and over again. And know that at some point you will feel it. And the more you feel it, the more you will be able to extend that hand above to your teachers and that hand below to your students. And together, as one, you will walk this path of ascension. And I will welcome all of my children home. Thank you for listening to this video and for all that you do, beloveds. I am indeed Metatron.